So we'll be doing the poetic devices of this poem, How to Tell Wild Animals. First of all, what is a poetic device? It is a form of literary device used in poetry. There are tools that a poet uses to create rhythm, enhance a poem's meaning, or intensify a mood or feeling. When we say tools, it doesn't mean that we are using some equipments. It is usually the words or playing with the words. That is, some words are repeated again and again, or some uh, alphabet is used again, or the letter or the word beginning with a certain alphabet used again and again. So in this way, the poet used the words to play or to enhance the mood of the poem or to give it a certain meaning. So that is poetic devices. The first poetic device is rhyme scheme. If we talk about rhyme scheme is the ordered pattern of rhyme at the end of the lines of a poem. That is, whether the lines are rhyming with each other or not, whether the alternate lines are rhyming or whether they are not rhyming at all. So you have to look into the poem's line to identify the rhyme scheme. At times, certain poems have no rhyme scheme at all. But if you look at this poem, there is a rhyme scheme, and you can see that the first lines and third lines last word is rhyming, and the second and fourth line last word is rhyming, and fifth and sixth is rhyming. So it is chance advance, east beast. So if you take chance as A and beast as B, it will be A B and C C. So the rhyme scheme of this poem is A B C C. And now the next poetic device is enjambment. Enjambment is continuation of a sentence to the next line. That is, there is no pause in between. Like if a sentence it doesn't end, or a line of a verse doesn't end there itself, it continues into the other line, then it is enjambment. Like you can see here in this line, and if there should to you advance a large and tawny beast. In the third line, there is no pause, no comma, no full stop in between, and it is continuing into the next line, a large and tawny beast. So this is an example of enjambment. You can find the example of enjambment in the next page. Though to distinguish beasts of prey, a novice might nonplus. Again, no pause in between, no comma, nothing. It is continuing into the next line. So this is again an example of enjambment. The crocodile always may tell from hyena, the hyena thus. So again, no comma in between. This line is continuing into the other one. So again, an example of enjambment. Now, the next poetic device is inversion. Inversion is change in the format of a sentence. Like the structure of the sentence, there is some change in a poem. That is known as inversion. You can see this in this line. If they should to you advance. That if it should advance to you, instead of that, it is if they should to you advance. So this is an example of inversion. The next example is the Bengal tiger to discern. So this is also an example of inversion. The next poetic device in this poem is assonance. Assonance is use of the same vowel sound by two or more words. That is, the two or more words use the same vowel sound, and the two words are close to one another. Like you can see in this sentence or in this line, meet a creature there. Here, the vowel sound E is being used. Meet a creature. Meet and cree. It has the E sound. So this is an example of assonance. Next is O sound. Strolling forth. O sound is being used. Whose spot? Again O sound. Or if sometime when roaming round. Again O sound is being used. You should go. You should go. You should. Again O sound. Should to you. Shoe to you, again O sound. So this is an example of assonance. They might start with a different consonant sound. The words might start with different consonant sound, but they have the same vowel sound, okay, for assonance. Next is allusion. Allusion is reference to a famous thing, place, species of animal, etc. So in the poem, when in between the lines there is a reference to some famous thing or place or species of animal, then it is an example of allusion. Like you can see Asian lion, Bengal tiger. In the poem, these two has been used. There is a reference to Asian lion and Bengal tiger. So this is an example of allusion. After this, we have the next poetic device, alliteration. Alliteration is repetition of consonant sound. It is the occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. The words have to be closely connected. They are one after the other. Okay. So that is, if a consonant sound is repeated, then it is example of alliteration. You, as you are dying, you sound is being used here. Whose hide, who hugs, again alliteration. When walking, were sound is being used here. So this is an example of alliteration. The other next poetic device is consonance. Consonance is the repetitive sounds produced by consonant within a sentence or phrase. Like here, when the poet is writing lep and lep, he is using the l sound, and in the line single wing, he is using the g sound. So these are examples of consonants. Another very fantastic poetic device used by the poet is poetic license. A very interesting, you can say, poetic device. So poetic license is when the poet takes liberty to alter the spellings in order to create some rhyme or rhythm in the poem. That is when he changes the spelling of certain words. So there is some rhyme or rhythm in the poem. Then it is known as poetic license. Like the poet is using the word lep instead of leapt. He is, instead of using the word or the correct spelling L-E-A-P-T, which is the past tense of the word leap, he is writing L-E-P, lep. So this is an example of poetic license. Then the last one, the last poetic device is personification. Personification is the attribution of human characteristics to something non-human. Non-human, animal, plant, or non-living things. That is, when certain human characteristic is given to non-living things or non-human things, then it is known as personification. Like in the poem, the poet uses personification. The poet is talking about the lion, the leopard, and the bear, and she is using he to refer to them. He is usually used for human, but here the poetess is using he for lion, leopard, and bear. So this is an example of personification. Okay, so these are the poetic devices in this poem, How to Tell Wild Animals. This is all. Thank you. Have a nice day.